What's up, everybody? It's your boy Duty back again with another video. This video is our boy DSP and his Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Marathon, where the boy goes on to PigSplain cartoons and also to PigSplain the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series, comic book, and so on. It's too long. I could only take so much, so I clipped the part that I thought was meh. All right, folks, let's get into it.
That actually used to run in the mornings, okay? And it was funny because back then, this is how cartoons worked, because you guys might not be aware how cartoons worked back in the day. So cartoons worked in this manner, all right? And by the way, this is not the real Derek. This is an imposter, so I'm just going to go ahead and ban him now. It's a fake Derek. I banned him. Okay. Here's how they worked back then. During the weekdays, in the morning, they would run a cartoon on regular television, usually, and it was basically for kids before they were going to school. They would watch this cartoon show before they would go to school. Basically, you know, you're getting ready, and then maybe your parents are getting ready to take you to school or whatever, and so they would run cartoons. Kids would have something to watch. What would happen is those would be reruns, usually episodes that have already aired and you've already seen, but you still liked watching the same show every morning, especially if it was one of your favorite shows. Saturday mornings is when they aired the new shows. So I actually remember I got into Ninja Turtles a little late. My friends at school already had liked the Ninja Turtles and had told me about them, and I had known her. I said, Ninja Turtles? What, turtles that are ninjas? Doesn't make sense. Turtles are slow creatures. And, you know, how could they be ninjas? And, of course, they're like, listen, just check it out. It's on in the mornings on this channel. You should check it out. So I did. And instantly, I kind of fell in love with the show. It's 4 turtles. Each have a completely different personality. You know, Leonardo is this kind of do-gooder leader. Donatello is kind of the brainiac, nerdy guy who does inventions and things for the team. Raphael is more of the tough guy, sarcastic guy. And then, of course, you've got Michelangelo, the party dude, who talks like a surfer. So each of them have a totally different personality. And together, they form this kind of super team of ninjas fighting against the Foot Clan, which is a group of, at first you think, crime, like a crime ring of ninjas, head by a guy named the Shredder. What you find out is they're not. They're robots that are actually mass manufactured by an alien named Krang, and he's trying to invade planet Earth. He's creating other mutants like the Ninja Turtles to fight them, and essentially he's trying to find ways to take over New York City and then the world, but the Ninja Turtles keep thwarting him time after time. So it's funny because at first you think the Shredder's kind of the big bad of the show throughout the first maybe 5-6 episodes, and then come to find out it's really Krang is the guy behind everything, and they kind of, you know, Shredder and Krang from the rest of them then on. Not to say that there's not a wide cast of characters that the show explores. There's always a new mutant, there's always a new challenge, an alien, someone crossing over from a dimension, a new crime ring. There's always something going on in New York City that the Ninja Turtles are trying to thwart and stop and basically save the day while they keep their identity secret and they hide in the sewers underneath the city streets. The running gag of the Ninja Turtles is that they love pizza. They eat it all the time. It's their favorite food. And of course, as the show went on, they would eat weirder and weirder pizzas. Like, for example, pepperoni, marshmallow, and gummy worms. Like weird shit like that. And they would love it. For some odd reason, you would think, oh, they're turtles. Maybe they would like anchovies. No, they want the weirdest shit. Like put, you know, roast beef and graham crackers and and paprika on their pizza. You know what I mean? So it was kind of a running gag on the show. But because the Ninja Turtles' favorite food was pizza, pizza ended up becoming insanely popular during the time that this show became popular on TV. Every kid wanted pizza, and this is when you actually saw delivery pizza explode in the United States. Places like Domino's and stuff started becoming insanely prominent because everyone wanted pizza all the time because of this freaking show. All right? So this is really where the origins of Ninja Turtles started in the popular vein of American culture. But you may say, is that actually where the Ninja Turtles started? They were a cartoon show? And the answer is no. You may not realize this, but the Ninja Turtles were originally an actually adult-themed dark comic book from Eastman and Laird. I think it was Peter Eastman and Kevin Laird, if I remember. Or is it Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird? I think it's Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird. One's the writer, one's the artist, okay? And the original comic books had gore, and they were purposely drawn in black and white to hide the gore. So the Ninja Turtles would be fighting the Foot Clan ninjas, and slashing them with swords and stabbing them with scythes, and there would be actually spurts of blood and cuts all over people's bodies. But because it was black and white, it didn't actually show the blood. Now, this comic book kind of took inspiration from some of the darker comics of the time, like Dark Horse comics, or even like the Daredevil runs of the time in Marvel Comics. And it definitely had that kind of darkened, you know, tone to it. It wasn't meant for kids. So how this comic somehow got turned into a kiddie cartoon show, I'm sure there was some crazy story or some behind the scenes deal there, right? Of how they can convert it into something that's more PC friendly. I'll give you an example. In the comic, the Foot Clan are human. The Foot Clan are actually teenagers working for the Shredder. The Shredder is kind of like this cult leader indoctrinating teens, and then the teens work for him and do all these crimes. So when the Ninja Turtles fight them, there's blood going all over the place. In the cartoon, the Foot Clan ninjas are robots. So it was okay for the Ninja Turtles to be violent in the cartoon because you're not hurting anyone. All you're doing is destroying machines. And they did. They would regularly blow the Foot Clan soldiers up all the time. And the kids were like, yay! But no one got hurt. So the parents could be like, okay, I guess it's not that bad. So you see, there's these certain things they changed to be more PC and more kiddie friendly. For example, the tone. The cartoon is comedic. There's never anything too super serious. No one's ever going to die or get seriously hurt. At the end of the day, there's all jokes and things. There's always slapstick humor with Krang and Shredder and Bebop and Rocksteady, the two main villain mutants. In the comics, there's constant threat that someone's going to get hurt. Sometimes the Turtles did get seriously hurt, or other characters. It was definitely a different tone to it, okay? But then, when this cartoon took off, all right, obviously now, there's now a demand for these characters that started off as comic book characters to have a comic book that the kids can read. Because you don't want your kids reading the ultra-violent Eastman and Laird originals. So they actually made a new comic book series that I started to read called the Archie Comics Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures. As you can see, boy did this change the tone of what the Ninja Turtles were in a comic book. It was very cartoony. It actually, the first few...
right up your alley there, Phil, huh?
Issues told the story of the origin of the Ninja Turtles almost frame for frame from the cartoons. So it was kind of like a retelling of the first few episodes of the cartoon in comic book form. But then over time, the comic book went on to have a life of its own and had its own original stories, original plots, and yes, even original characters created for the comics. And sometimes, and this was kind of neat, the characters from the show or the comics would actually cross over. There'd be a character you saw in the show, all of a sudden now they're written into the comic. Or vice versa. There's a really neat character in the comic. Oh my god, now they're on a random television show. And it's really cool to see that crossover. If you were reading the comic, you would see that crossover to the show, or vice versa. There was continuity almost, right?
Okay, pimps. I didn't give too much commentary on this because it was just utterly ridiculous and boring. And he had several things wrong on what he was stating. But, of course, our boy Phil had to come in and PigSplain Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoons. Oh my lord. And I'm pretty sure he kept on and kept on. He started talking about the graphic novel, and then he started talking about the toys and all that. And of course, there was he loves his action figures. So I'm pretty sure his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle and his Wolverine figure were kissing each other while he was playing, in his room when our boy Phil was a young man. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.